As we do, thank you. We'll start with the with our meeting norms and operations. Hold on, I gotta get Windows out of the way here. All right, so general meeting operations. If you need to seek the floor for any reason, use the raise hand. If we need to take a poll, we may ask you to do a yes or a no. Chat will be disabled at times throughout this meeting, but even with that, you should be able to message hosts directly. You should all have received a voting code if you are a voting member, which includes both elected PCOs and those with a paid membership. If you have not received a voting code, send an email to tally@43rddemocrats.org. As a reminder of our meeting norms, treat each other with dignity and respect. If you don't know, ask, step up, step back. Everyone's here a volunteer, and together we share responsibility for staying on time and getting out of here at 9 p.m. Robert's Rules is the parliamentary procedures that we use to run our meetings. If you don't know how to use those, just ask, raise your hand and ask. Most motions are pretty simple. I move, we approve, amend, postpone resolution. As a voting member, you have the right to participate in our meetings. If you need us to slow down and explain what's going on, just raise your hand and ask. And as a reminder, if you're a parliamentary rock star, use your powers for good rather than for evil, so that we can, again, keep the meeting moving and get out of here on time. The email, Beth, is Tally, Tally, at 43rddemocrats.org. Let me just grab that and I will put it in the chat here. Let me try that again in case it, nope, it didn't. It didn't include the period in there. And then also our land acknowledgement. As a reminder, we do pay rent to Real Rent Duwamish. Although we're all joining virtually tonight, we'd like to start this event acknowledging that we are in the traditional land of the first people of Seattle, the Duwamish people, past and present, and we honor with gratitude the land itself and the Duwamish tribe. If you'd like to learn more about whose land you occupy and have occupied, see the website native-land.ca. All right, thank you for that. And I will, let's see, if we can get the practice vote ready to go, I will call for an adoption of the agenda and the meeting rules. The agenda is this document, standing rules for debate. These are our standard standing rules for debate, and our standing rules for remote participation is here. And let me put the agenda in as well. Is there a motion to adopt the agenda and rules?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Is there any objection to adopting the agenda and the standing rules? Any objection? Is there any objection? All right, thank you. It's adopted. I will also point people here to our bylaws so that you have them handy as we go throughout this meeting. So you have them to refer to as you need to. Before we continue on, Up above, Liam had provided the sign-in form. Let me grab this again. And I will put it here. Please sign in with your credentials, the credential code that you had been emailed earlier, so that we can mark you as being present and include you in the rest of the votes tonight. We will do a quorum report in a bit after everyone has had an opportunity to do that sign-in. So tonight, as you are all aware, is our 43rd Democrats reorganization meeting, at which we will elect a board for the next biennium. So that's for 2025 and 2026. And we'll get into all of that shortly here. But before that, I just wanted to say a couple things as the outgoing chair. First, thank you all very much for allowing me and supporting me in being your chair for these last 3 or so years. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve with you all in that capacity. As you are all very clearly aware, we have entered into a period of a second Trump administration. There is a lot of work that we will need to do as Democrats, as progressives, as just Americans, in order to hold the line against the authoritarianism of the Trump administration. And so I thank you all for your participation in advance, for everything you're going to do over the coming years to hold the line and to continue to work for justice and equity in Seattle, in Washington, in King County, and in America. And on that note, very shortly here, within the next few days, I believe it is, ballots are dropping for the special election for the social housing funding initiative. And in that initiative, I would encourage you all to vote. And because this is confusing, Ryan, as our PCO chair, current PCO chair, please step in if I got this wrong. Vote yes on Prop 1A to support public housing, social housing funding. And again, this is the social housing is an issue that the 43rd has endorsed in the past, and we've also endorsed this funding initiative for social housing. And so when those ballots drop in the next few days, I encourage you to all vote yes on Prop 1A. And if you have any questions about that, I am sure we will be getting out a mail with details on how to do the vote in the coming days. And then the next thing, while we're still waiting for people to do their credentialing and get their help with getting credentialed, I just wanted to invite Carrie Bull, if she is here, from Fair Vote Washington, to talk briefly about Lobby Day or ranked choice voting. Carrie, are you here? If so, please raise your hand so that we can call on you. I do not see Carrie here. All right, if Carrie comes later in the meeting, we'll give her the opportunity to talk. Oh, and thank you, Rye, for noting that you have to vote yes twice to get Prop 1A to be passed. All right. Let's keep moving while you are all signing in and getting credentialed. Let me open up. Come on. I will also open up the list of candidates. Candidate statements will be here. As I'm sure Josh will let us all know when he takes over the meeting for the election. Even if you if you're interested in being running for the board and your name is not on these slides of candidate statements, you can still be nominated from the floor. But in any event, candidate statements are there, so you can start to look at those as we wait for everybody to get credentialed. Are there any questions so far? Linda, yes, I see that you.
Actually, I have a comment. I open
Yes.
up the document with all candidate statements on my computer
Mhm.
and on my phone. And in
Mhm.
both cases, the font is so small, it's impossible to read. It's not ADA friendly.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Linda. I remember you mentioning font size in the past. My apologies on that.
Not visible on your screen either. I mean, I
Yeah,
can see it, but I can't read it.
yeah. It is, let me see if I can do something here during the meeting so that I can get
I would
the content into another form where it's easier to see.
I would recommend breaking up the longer statements into 1 or 2 slides so that they are the main issue is that the fonts are automatically sized.
Yeah, yeah,
And so I think if we split, I think the main issue is the chair statements, the chair candidate statements. So maybe splitting the two or however many there are statements into 2 slides each may be helpful.
yeah.
May I comment?
Yes, please.
I really said that for the future, when documents are prepared, to really think about it. And maybe slides is not the best vehicle to use for that information.
All right, thank you.
I
Ellen?
yeah, I just want to say that, I find it very difficult to read too.
All right,
One thing you can do is copy and paste. So you can copy all of that and paste it into a Word document and blow it up as much as you want.
I
You
know,
know,
but that's extra work.
that's all very well, but some of us, we really don't want to have to spend extra time doing that. I mean, I've been wrangling with websites all day long.
I noticed, I think definitely should be bigger in the future, but at least on my screen for Zoom at the bottom right, there's a zoom at the bottom of the screen, there's a zoom button. So you might be able to zoom in and it's worse for viewing, but for folks who are struggling with right now, it might be useful.
Let's see.
And I think the point is that people are saying is that when someone says to you, it needs to be ADA accessible and it continuously is not, it's a problem. Just saying.
100%, yeah.
okay. All right, Liam, where are we at on credentialing?
I currently have 67 eligible voters, including both PCOs and paid members, and a total of 42 PCOs credentialed.
Right, is there anyone who is, sorry, you said 62, correct?
67 eligible total voters, 42 of
67,
which are
okay.
PCOs.
With 80 participants on this call, I just want to make sure that if there's anybody who is having difficulty finding their voting code, finding the credentialing form, getting yourself credentialed, if you can send a mail to tally@, 43rddemocrats.org. And Lehman, do we have any invalid voting codes other than the ones you've already said?
We do not. The two that I sent in the chat a little bit earlier on, which I will drop in here, are the only ones that I've seen that are invalid. So if your voting code started with one of these two, please go ahead and shoot me an email, tally@43rddemocrats.org, and we'll get you your correct voting code. Thanks so much.
Can anybody hear me here?
Yeah?
Yes, we can.
Okay. We have a situation where we share, my wife and I share an email address. And I got a credential on that email address for me. We wanted to get one for her. We had a long time Gmail address, hadn't used for a long time, but I sent that in to be her email address. But when I went to get into the inbox for this Gmail address, I can't. I don't know if they've changed things or disappeared or what. So I can't get this, or she can't get the credential sent to my address. Is there any way to?
Yeah, Michael, can you send an email to tally@43rddemocrats.org and we will assist you on that.
And explain this? Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Paul, I have a similar issue. My wife didn't get a code.
Yeah, can you send an email to tally@43rddemocrats.org?
Right, thank you.
Tally, do you have that there?
Yes, tally at 43rd
Just a second here.
Democrats.
Okay.
Constance.
Yes, getting back to the issue of the readability of the candidate profiles, there's an arrow in the upper left-hand corner that if you click on it, then there'll be a drop down with percentages of print sizes, and if you click on like 150, the print will become readable. 150 or 100, I can't remember exactly. That's what I did.
All right.
I believe Constance may be referring to the plus magnifying glass next to fit on the left side. About 4 to the right. Yeah.
Right here.
Yep.
Oh, or zoom in.
I don't know. I can't see it on my screen now anymore. There was actually an arrow that I was looking for. I was looking for a plus magnifier and I didn't see it, but so I just clicked on the arrow to see what would happen, and that's what worked for me.
Yeah, there's a zoom thing, but then it's off the page. So, I mean, we can jump through all these hoops, but in the future, I think it would be just better to do it in a bigger font. Because see, when you zoom in, it goes off the page. When you zoom in and get a bigger font, it goes off the page. Do you understand what I mean?
Yep.
It doesn't fit on the page when you really expand the font to a readable size. I don't know if anybody understands what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we do understand. Thank you.
Okay. Now I don't have.
Is there anybody else who has had difficulty with getting credentialed? All right, Liam, what's our count at now?
'71 eligible voters, with 43 of them being PCOs.
All right. We're at 7:25. I am planning to turn the meeting over to Josh here at 7:30. It looks like we do have enough PCOs and members to hold the meeting. So thank you all for that. Jonathan Moore, you have a question?
There's something in the chat that says if your credential begins with 3KP7, you're supposed to email somebody and get a real good one. I didn't really understand, so. Should I ignore it? That would be better.
If that is your voting code?
Yeah, yeah.
If it is your voting code, please send an email to
No, I
Tally.
can't email in the middle of too many screens open up. It's way too, can't you just send it to me? I can't, I tried, I can't do it. It's, once it doesn't know, it opens through, it's all right. I can't, does that mean I can't vote because it begins with BKP7?
If that is your voting code, send a mail to this.
Paul, I'm just going to send that in
Okay.
Zoom chat.
All right.
Just
Can't do an email and listen to this at the same time. I'm from the 20th century. I'm sorry.
No, there's 55,000 different boxes that open up. You're fine. It's ridiculous. Zoom has 50,000 boxes.
All right, I have also just posted in the chat, I'm starting a document where I'm copying and pasting the candidate statements into. Right now, the two chair ones are in there. As soon as
Paul,
yes.
I think Frederic already did that and posted a link in the chat. So if people would like to see all of the candidate statements in a Google Doc with large print, Frederic posted a link in the chat.
Awesome. That is perfect. Thank you, Frederic.
Thank you, Frederic.
And all right. Okay, let me go back to the agenda. Just to confirm again, Liam, if you can give us the counts and we'll make it official. And then I'll hand the meeting over to Josh.
uh, 75 voters credentialed, and 46 of those are PCOs.
All right. Okay, and with that, Josh, I will hand the gavel over to you to conduct the election meeting.
Sure. Thank you very much, Paul. Welcome everyone. Welcome precinct committee officers, especially to the 2025 LD 43 Democrats reorg meeting. My name is Josh Vaughn. I'm the first vice chair at King County Democrats, and I'm a fairly new member of the 43rd LD myself since about August. It's great to see you all and to meet you all. To introduce myself, thank you for coming together to elect the leadership of our legislative district for the 25-26 biennium. Before we begin, we'd like to acknowledge and celebrate the incredibly strong and impressive results for the Democratic Party that Washington State and King County made in the last election, despite the poor federal news. We know that in large part, these gains are thanks to your efforts as PCOs. PCOs work hard, canvass, phone bank, educate precincts to get out the vote for Democratic candidates. It's the foundation of all of our successes. So thank you, and thank you for being prepared to do it again as we head into the next election cycle. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the outgoing officers from this LD who've dedicated so much time and energy over the last few years to lead this LD. So thanks to all of them. Thank you for your hard work. My role tonight is to assist in electing your LD chair for the 25-26 biennium. After that election, I will hand the meeting over to your new chair, and then I'll just stick around sort of in the background for the rest of the meeting as a new member of the LD. So thanks, everyone. I appreciate your support today. I'll now appoint temporary officers specifically for this meeting. For meeting parliamentarian, I'd like to nominate, and not nominate, I would actually like to appoint Paul Chapman. And for the tally and credentials committee members, I'd like to appoint Liam Steckler and Paul Chapman as well. Paul, do we have an update on a willing secretary?
Yeah, Justin is going to be
Yep,
our
I am currently taking notes as we speak.
All right, is that Justin Peterson?
Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you, Justin. All right, and we just recently got our official report of 75 voters, with 46 of them being PCO. So the next item of business is the election of the LD chair. At the start of this meeting, two candidates, Ryan Driscoll and Jeremy Erdman, showed interest in nomination for this position. Please remember, only duly elected PCOs may nominate and vote in the election of the LD chair. The floor is now open for other nominations, which you can make by raising your hand or indicating so in the meeting chat. Nominees can be nominated by others or self-nominate. And again, I would like to mention we don't need introductions. We specifically don't need folks to nominate Ryan Driscoll or Jeremy Erdman, as they have expressed interest beforehand. So I'll ask a few times here, are there any other nominations for chair? Are there any nominations for LD chair? Any other nominations? And once more, any other nominations for 43rd LD chair? Okay, seeing none, nominations are now closed. I will hand it over to our parliamentarian. Can you explain, Paul? We should have candidates, give speeches. Obviously, how does the 43rd LD do this, and how many, supporters can they get, and their time, etc.?
Yeah, we give each candidate 2 minutes to speak. Also, I'll just note that we ask people not to do electioneering in the chat.
Thank you, parliamentarian. And after their speeches, does 43rd, how many support speeches can be delivered?
We just have those 2 speeches.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So we have no other nominations. We have 2 people up. The first name I have on the list sent out is Ryan Driscoll. Do we have someone who can time 2 minutes?
Yes, if you just give me 1 second, I will get that app up. If I can find in this instance of Zoom where they have the apps.
Sure. Yeah, they hide them in different places.
And as a note, I'm going to cede my first 30 seconds to Shimona Moreno. So she'll start when the timer starts.
Okay, thank you for that.
All right, here we go. We're ready.
All right, then I'll ask, Ryan has asked Shimona to take the first 30 seconds, so please go ahead.
Hello, my name is Shimona Moreno. I am here to in support of Ryan Driscoll. I have worked with him for many years. He first came to work with me at 350 Seattle, where I am the executive director, as a practicum student, and he has stayed on and consistently shown up in the most kind, energetic, and amazing fashion. It brings utmost curiosity to a lot of and asks the best questions, and encourages everyone around him to do their very best. And I am so grateful that he asked me to be here and speak in honor of him. And I'll pass it back to Ryan.
Thank you, Shimona. So hi, my name's Ryan Driscoll. As I've engaged with many of you to hear your visions for the future of the 43rd, a few themes have shown up consistently. More opportunities to meet in person so that we can build relationships with each other in our community, a return to committees where people can develop their skills and get involved, and cultivating a space where all Democrats can share their perspectives. We're at a critical time as a party. People are rightly anxious about the federal administration, and we're looking a way to support each other and to fight back. If we want people to join us, we need to show them through our actions what it means to be a part of the 43rd. My background brings a unique set of skills to this position. As a former public school teacher, I've always focused on meeting people where they're at and making issues relevant to their lives. As an organizer, I've helped unionize my department when I worked at the zoo and know the critical role of strong union relationships. As a social worker, I center social justice and equity in all that I do. As a community engagement specialist with the Office for Civil Rights, I know how to collaborate with communities who have been historically marginalized. And as a community organizer, I've worked with 350 Seattle, House Our Neighbors, and various local candidates. I am proud to be endorsed by Representatives Nicole Macri, Sean Scott, Beth Dolio, Councilmember Alexis Mercedes Rink, former 43rd Chair Scott Alsbach, among other community leaders. You've all seen the work that I've done in action as a PCO chair, and I bring people together and get things done. I'd be honored to bring that energy to your chair.
Thank you, Ryan, and that's time. All right, that is our first candidate. The next candidate for chair is Jeremy Erdman. So Jeremy, if you're ready to speak or if you want to cede any time to anyone else, let us know as we get our timer reset here.
All right, can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Awesome, well, I'm gonna take the 2 minutes of just me, and my name is Jeremy Erdman, and I'm asking for your vote to become chair of the 43rd LD Democrats. As a current PCO and policy and advocacy chair, a former state and national delegate, and the community engagement chair for the city's LGBTQ commission, I have the experience and passion to lead our district through these challenging times. I've called the 43rd home for over 10 years. Like many of you, I've faced adversity. As a gay son of a pastor, I know what it feels like to be excluded for who you are. Earlier this year, I supported my brother and his husband after wildfires devastated their home in Altadena, California. I've also seen hope, the power of community coming together even in the darkest times. This is what I want to foster as chair: hope, unity, and action for the common good. My goal is to build an inclusive, transparent, and welcoming organization where everyone, regardless of identity or experience, feels empowered to participate. My professional background in securing over $150 million in funding for underserved communities and advancing equity in workplaces proves that I can deliver real results. With endorsements from leaders like State Representative Nicole Macri, City Council Member Joy Hollingsworth, previous Seattle School Board Member Vivian Song, King County Democrats Chair Beth Bagley, and Washington Stonewall Democrats Chair Andrew Ashiofu, I have the support to bring meaningful change. Together, we will revitalize activism, grow our ranks, and create a stronger 43rd LD. We are stronger together when we have respectful debate and collective action. We are stronger together when we all belong and we all contribute. I ask for your confidence, your partnership, and your vote so we can lead our communities towards a brighter, more equitable future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Thank you both, Ryan and Jeremy, for stepping up to ask the LD for your confidence to lead the legislative district. So it takes a lot of guts and it takes a lot of hard work to do this position. So I will now hand it over to our parliamentarian to explain how this voting process will work, and we will know shortly. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Liam, do you have the ballot ready to go?
Yep. Want me to go ahead and drop down the chat?
Yes, we can drop that into the chat. That'd be awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam.
All right, everyone, please click that link in chat. Provide your voting code and select your voting choice for chair.
I'm sorry, I didn't follow that direction. We're supposed to click chat?
Go to the chat. You can see that there is the last chat there is election of chair, PCO only vote. Click that link.
So only the PCOs vote?
This is a PCO only vote, yes.
Oh, okay, so I don't have to vote.
If you are not a PCO, you do not vote.
Okay.
Liam, correct me if I'm wrong, but we do have validation to ensure that only PCO.
Correct.
Yeah. So if you are not sure if you're a PCO, you can still vote and we will discard your vote if you are not actually a confirmed PCO. And we will leave this open until everyone has voted.
Paul, I think we have a question from John.
Yeah, I just
John,
want to
yes.
let you know that it's letting me vote. I'm not voting, but it is letting me vote.
It's good to know, John. Yeah, hopefully we should have some back-end validation on PCOs.
Yeah, John, so unfortunately it doesn't let us show it to you, but on our side of things, it knows who you are and is able to kind of match up and take that into consideration for the count.
Good deal.
We put up a timer for a couple of minutes. We'll give a couple minutes and then we'll check to see if there's anyone who's having difficulty with their voting.
Liam, are you able to see in real time the vote tallies come in?
Yes, I am.
Okay, great.
We already have 42 valid votes.
Liam, how many invalid votes have come in?
No invalid votes, meaning just in that we have 42 out of the credentialed.
Okay.
Votes.
Okay. Dylan, you should have received your voting code in your email. If you haven't, please reach out to Tally at 43rd Democrats. Thank you, Sophia, or Sophie. Send an email to that and we will find your voting code.
And then when you do send us a voting code, because we had a problem, but you send us a voting code, then what do we do with it? Where do we go to sign in?
Michael, are either of you PCOs?
No.
All right. You do not need to vote in this election.
No.
I know, but I'd
Sorry,
like to just get signed in for what's coming tonight.
Oh, for what I see. So for credentialing, let me grab you the credentialing link again. Sorry, I have to go through chat here.
And while that's happening, Liam, can I just get another count? When you're available.
This baby is killing.
He just, I just saw some credentials.
Looks like we are still sitting at 42.
Okay. 42. Okay. Let's help those folks with their credentialing. And then give it another couple minutes here. And then we should know our results. And is anyone else having any trouble voting, just to make sure? It looks like we only have 4 people potentially who can vote and have not. Looks like Andrea has raised her hand. Andrea?
I just wanted to clarify. So you said there's 4 people who can vote that haven't voted, and just given the confusion and access and credentialing questions that have happened here for the first 47 minutes, is it possible to call out who's able to vote that's here that's not, so they know who they are?
That is not possible, unfortunately.
Thank you, Liam. We are now at about, there's another question I can ask to sort of help move this along. What's the count now at 7:48? Liam?
We are sitting at 43.
43, okay. And the gulf enough that 3 votes are not going to change this election?
Yes.
Okay, I will ask the parliamentarian if it is in order to get our results.
Just give me 1 second. I just want to make sure.
Sure.
We just got Dylan a voting code.
Okay, great.
I wanted to
I
give
don't want to
Dylan
deny
an
anyone their-
opportunity to to do that vote, and then maybe let's just do. Okay, Dylan has said they voted. If there is anyone who is a elected PCO and who has not yet voted, if you can please raise your hand before we consider this closed. Okay.
All right, seeing no hands here, I will ask for the results of the election, specifically in the format of with a number out of number. This is our winner. If there are further asks for the exact count or breakdown, that's fine, but that's all I need for official reasons. And Liam, I think you should have that information.
Sorry, wanting to clarify, out of the total votes cast in this matter?
Yes, yeah. So, as an example, with this number of votes out of this number cast. Yeah.
So with 33 votes out of 45 votes cast, Ryan Driscoll received the majority of votes.
Excellent. All right, Ryan Driscoll, congratulations. With 33 out of 45, you are the chair of the 43rd Legislative District starting now. Congratulations, and thank you, Jeremy, very much for running. And I'll go ahead and hand the gavel right over to you, Ryan. Thanks, everyone. Happy to be a new member of the 43rd, and I'll be sticking around. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Josh. And thank you to everyone for your confidence and for your vote. Rather than give a speech, I know that we all want to end on time, so you'll get more information from me in the future, and we can continue to move forward so we can try to end our meeting on time tonight. I believe that the first thing I need to do now that I've taken the gavel is to assign again our parliamentarian secretary and tally credentials. So I will be assigning Paul Chapman as our parliamentarian, Liam and Paul as our tally credential team, and Justin Peterson as secretary until such time as we get a new secretary elected. Our next election is for the vice chair. Before our meeting today, we had one nominee who put forth their name for vice chair, and that is Emily Lake. As a reminder, vice chair must be of a different gender than the chair. So Emily Lake has been nominated. I'll now open the floor for anyone who would like to put forth a nomination for vice chair. As a reminder, to put forth a nomination for vice chair, you must be a duly elected PCO. Are there any nominations? Oh, Paul.
Yeah, just point of information. Emily is now Emily Miller.
Oh,
she is recently married with name change. Congratulations, Emily.
Sorry about that, Emily. Yes, so Emily Miller is nominated. And if there's an Emily Lake here, I apologize. Emily Miller is nominated. I'll now open the floor for any additional nominations for vice chair. Second call for any additional nominations for vice chair. Final call for any nominations for vice chair. Okay. Parliamentarian, question for you. Given that there is only one nomination, do we move forward with the vote?
We can do it by acclamation.
Okay. Then
I'd like to move that we elect Emily Miller vice chair of the 43rd Legislative District Democrats by acclamation.
Seconded.
Second.
Any opposed? Okay, then by acclamation, congratulations, Emily Miller, on being elected vice chair of the 43rd. Excellent. Okay, our next elections are going to be for the state committee members. So, as a reminder for state committee members, our two committee members must be of different genders. So the way that the ballot is going to look for this is you're going to have a list of all of the people that are running for state committee member. You are going to be selecting two of them, and those two people must be of different gender. Before we had our meeting tonight, we had 4 people who had submitted themselves as nominees for state chair. Amy Madden, Daoud Makbul, Landon Lebowski, and John Comerford. I am now going to open the floor for any additional nominations for state committee member.
I nominate Rye Armstrong for state committee member.
Okay. Thank you, Landon. Second call for any additional nominations for state committee member.
I'll withdraw my my name and support Rye if I can do that.
Okay. Thank you, John. Noted. John Comerford is withdrawing his nomination. So we have 4 nominations right now: Amy Madden, Daoud Makbal, Landon Lebowski, and Rye Armstrong. Final call for any nominations for state committee member. Okay.
Can I point a privilege on that? John,
Yes, Landon.
Rye is actually running as non-binary and the female position. So you are running for the male side of this vote. So you do not actually need to withdraw, at least, or Ryan, do you want to kind of handle that? But that, I just wanted to make that clear so John doesn't have to retract himself from this.
Yeah, great point of clarification, Landon. And so rather than think of it as being like a male spot and a female non-binary spot, we're trying to instead it is framed as 2 different genders. So as Landon said, John, Rye is non-binary, and so they are of a different gender than you if you identify as male. So if you'd like to continue to run, you can feel free to do so, or if you'd like to
I'll
keep your
withdraw
withdrawal.
because I would support someone else on the female. I guess I'm a little confused actually.
Yeah. So to give you some clarification, so on your ballot you'll see Paul, do you have some?
Yeah, I can walk through this. So for state committee member and for King County representative, the 2 positions need to be of different genders. So what this means is there could be somebody who is male and female, so those 2, or male non-binary, or female and non-binary. Any of those combinations work. In the voting form, we will indicate the gender of the candidates so that you are able to make the appropriate selections. And Liam, I believe from the discussion we were having over the weekend, you have gotten validation in the voting form to be able to check for that, right?
Correct. Yep.
Right.
And so is it just basically like the 2 highest vote getters, but then if the 2 highest are both male, the second one gets scrapped and the next highest vote getter gets, so it's not like people are voting adversarially, right? It's just the 2 highest vote getters that are not of the same gender?
So in order to be elected, a candidate must receive 50% plus 1 vote. So we will do the first round with everyone choosing 2 candidates of different genders. If 2 candidates receive 50% plus 1 votes, then those 2 will be our elected members. If 1 candidate receives that and the other 3 do not, then we will hold a second election for those 3 candidates, removing anyone who is of the same gender as the candidate who won. And if we get to that, I'll walk us through it again, because I understand that it can be confusing. So at this point, we've got our 4 candidates. I'm going to put a final call out for anyone who would like to put forth a nomination for state committee member.
A quick point of information.
Yes, John.
Does this mean that Rye and Amy Madden could be elected?
Correct.
They could be. Okay, great. Okay.
Yep.
I'll stay in the race
Okay.
then.
You'll stay in the race?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me add you back in. I'll also make my notes so I don't get lost. Okay, so we have 5 nominations for our state committee chair. Okay, one final call, state committee chair nominations. Okay, we are closing state committee member nominations. We have 5 candidates. Each candidate will be given 2 minutes to speak. And I am going to do them in the list that I have them listed here. So first nomination is Amy Madden.
Hi, everyone. So will a timer pop up on my screen? I can start whenever. Okay. I don't see a timer.
Oh, sorry. Whenever you're ready. I was on mute.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. All right. Hello, 43rd. I'm Amy Madden, and it has been such an honor to represent the 43rd to the Washington State Democrats for the last 8 years. As many of you know, I have prioritized the 43rd's leadership on the environment as one of the founders of the State Environment and Climate Caucus, whose board I served on for many terms. And it's been important to me to give my communities a seat at the table. As someone with lived experience of childhood homelessness, as a survivor of DV and police brutality, and as a queer person with disabilities struggling with the rising rent cost. This is why I founded the Economic Justice Caucus and hope to support that work again. I am a vocal advocate for grassroots party policy, and I will never stop advocating for the most underrepresented to be heard. I've served in a number of leadership positions for the party, including the State Rules Committee, and was elected by my state committee peers to represent the 7th Congressional District on the Washington Democrats Executive Board. I've put in the work for dozens of progressive issue and candidate campaigns from the hyperlocal to the national level. I'm so proud to be endorsed by Representatives Nicole Macri and Sean Scott, King County Democrats State Committee Rep Lisa Rivera, former 43rd Chair Scott Allspaw, Rooted in Vibrant Communities Executive Director Enbar Mahar, and Millie Kennedy, Tsimshian Tribe, author of the Urban Indian Platform, among other endorsements. As Representative Jayapal says, we must build inclusivity and community connections within our party, center the grassroots, hear the struggles of our multiracial working class base, and build up critical coalitions. These will be my primary focuses in the next term, if elected, and I hope to work with all of you to make this happen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Amy. Next on my list is John Comerford.
Thanks, Ryan. Oddly enough, I'm running for 3 offices tonight. The reason I want to serve on the executive board of the 43rd. I'm relatively new. I started my career in Seattle in the late 90s, and I was on and active as PCO at the 43rd. I got redistricted into 36th, where I was on the executive board and was the King County Democratic representative for many years. I continue to serve on the King County Finance Committee, King County Democrats Finance Committee, and also for many years was on the endorsement committee. I've been a lifetime Democrat. I started my career in local government in Boston, went to Washington with President Carter. I was fortunate to be appointed president of the National Consumer Cooperative Bank, went into banking for many years, left banking and insurance to form a consulting firm. I work now with state and local and the federal government, providing hopefully good economic equality and environmental support to pension funds throughout the country or the world. I do a lot of traveling. I'm going to be retiring shortly and want to devote more time to the 43rd. Housing is my big issue. As former president of the Co-op Bank and having been chairman of 3 other banks, I have a background in housing and want to build affordable housing here in Seattle and want to be involved in that process. I would really support, like you support for tonight's election, either King County Democrats or state of Washington Democratic Party. Thank you very much for listening to me, and unfortunately, you'll have to hear me again shortly.
Thank you, John. And it's not unfortunate for us at all. Next on our list, I've got Landon Lebowski.
Hi, everybody. My name is Landon Lebowski. I have been a resident of District 43 for 3 years now. It's crazy how time flies. I moved here from Boise, Idaho, and as a gay man living in Idaho, you can imagine the struggle, especially when I was working for the Democrat Party there, knocking doors. So I know the struggle that like marginalized communities experience in places where they don't feel welcomed. I moved here to Seattle to hopefully just expand my reach and my knowledge with the people that inhabit Seattle. I think we are a thriving community, always room for work, but I very much advocate for more people to be getting involved in government and the government apparatuses. This past summer, I was one of your delegates. Thank you for voting me into that position. And I helped work on the state party platform and specifically resolution that surrounded housing and homelessness. Deborah and Dean are on this call as well. We all, I think, created a very good resolution in that regard. I do think that encouraging more people to come and get involved, create opportunity for that, and really just being a welcoming LD is needed on this executive board. I think bringing in new people, learning new ideas, and having just fresh faces, bringing a different kind of leadership to our LD would be very beneficial, especially going into 2025. So I just ask for your vote for state committee member. And with that vote, I hope to connect all the way from the LD up into the chair of our Democrats here in the state of Washington, and just connecting everybody in between and bringing in more people and building the tent even larger than when we found it, and especially larger than when I first entered the tent back in 2022. So I humbly ask for your vote for state committee member, and I'm very excited to get the work done. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Landon. Next up is Daoud Makbal. And Daoud, please let me know if I'm mispronouncing any part of your name. Goes for anyone. If I ever mispronounce your name, please correct me so I can say it correctly.
Close enough. Hey, 43rd neighbors. My name is Daoud Makbul. I am running to represent our district as your Washington State Democratic State Committee member. I'm a second-generation immigrant, a member of Seattle's LGBTQI+ community, and a Palestinian American. I am a systems and platform engineer, that's what I do for a living. In the years since I arrived in Seattle, I have built many relationships with people in our community, especially in the intersectional and marginalized communities that breathe culture and life into our 43rd district. Turns out most of us care about the same things like racial and gender justice, climate, environment, housing, healthcare. The 43rd district Democrats have always led on these issues, and it's been inspiring to be a part of organizing with you all. I helped lead an advocacy day in Olympia last year that was some of my life's proudest work. I was able to speak with my neighbors, including my Palestinian community, about their needs, then represent them in meetings with our state legislators. It was empowering, and the whole process was very empowering and hopeful. And I want to continue to facilitate our communities being heard by this kind of advocacy. I also served as a delegate representing our district to the state party convention, getting to speak at the Stonewall Caucus about the 43rd and connect with statewide members. If elected your state committee representative, I will continue fostering the relationship between the 43rd, the heart of the queer community in Washington state, and the network of LGBTQIA+ Democrats across the state. The next 4 years are going to be some of the toughest times our communities are going to face, and I'm committed to listening, advocating, and working together with everyone to navigate these challenges together. That's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daoud. And then our last nominee is Rye Armstrong.
Good evening, everyone. I want to take some time just to recognize how shitty this week has been. And I want to say, it's crazy that I can be arrested or not live my authentic self as a trans non-binary person in the world today. And I think that representation is missing from the state party. And so when community came to me asking if I would be considering putting myself forward, I was like, well, I'm pretty burnt out from last time, but I will give it a try and maybe see what we can do together. I first got into politics in 2015, caucusing for Bernie's campaign. And now I sit as the co-executive director of Sustainable Seattle. I think the work that we have to do is about actually listening to working people again and organizing the actual streets of Seattle. I think we learned in this last election cycle that money is powerful. However, people power could be more powerful if we choose to engage it. And I would love to bring that energy to the state party, standing on the shoulders of people like Amy Madden, who's been doing the organizing for a decade, Landon Lebowski, an amazing LGBTQ commissioner, John, an amazing organizer, Daoud, I saw you as a delegate at the state convention. There is so much work we get to do together, and I think it's so beautiful that we have opportunities in this meeting to come together and fill these seats for an executive board that could be representative of the 43rd district. I was also an individual that was removed from consideration of a national DNC ballot with people like Sophia Lee because we were either trans or calling for a ceasefire. And that sort of undemocratic movement has no place in Washington State. So I hope to earn your vote. And if not, I'll see you around the 43rd. Thanks.
Thank you, Rod. Okay. Thank you to all of our candidates for stepping up and for putting yourself forward for these these positions, because there's two of them. At this point, Liam, if you are ready, we will throw the link into the chat to vote. As a reminder, our state committee member is a PCO only vote. So only elected PCOs are going to vote in this election. When you open up your ballot, it'll ask you for your voting code, the same voting code you used to vote for chair. And then it'll ask you to select 2 candidates of different genders. Their genders are listed after their name. So 2 candidates of different gender. And if you need any additional support with voting codes, if any of our PCOs who weren't able to get into the chair election are struggling, please let us know so we can provide that support. Yeah, John.
If it's not too late, can I withdraw? I really want to see the 2 candidates that I mentioned earlier win. So
okay. Let me confer with my parliamentarian. Paul,
if I can't, then just don't vote for me.
I think at this point we've got the ballots out, and so I think
that's fine.
Okay. So Liam, checking in with you. Oh yeah, Paul.
Would you like me to just show the ballot and walk people
that
through
would
the
be
voting?
ideal.
Okay. Just give me a second here. I swear, Zoom.
Oh wait, maybe I can do this too.
There's the share button. Hold on one second. Yeah, I've got it here. All right, so hopefully you can all see the ballot here.
Nope.
You can't see the ballot.
Here, let me see if I can.
There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Now is it working? There we go. Paste your voting code in here. Recommend you copy and paste. The dash in the middle there is important, so that's why a copy and paste is the easiest way to go. So voting code goes here where it says voting code. Your email address doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. If it's not the email address that you expect, don't worry about the email address up there. Voting code goes here. Select your candidates, and as Ryan's been saying, in this vote, you should select 2 candidates of differing genders. So again, that would be 1 male, 1 female, 1 male, 1 non-binary, 1 female, 1 non-binary. And then hit submit. Don't forget to hit submit.
Okay. Again, if anyone is having any issues, if you are an elected PCO and you're having any issues, please let us know. Hopefully we've got all of the voting code situation figured out after our first ballot. Liam, can I get a check-in from you on where our ballot totals are at?
We currently have, let's see, a total of 39 PCOs have voted.
Okay, 39 PCOs. We'll give people one more minute. And again, if anyone is a PCO and you're having issues getting your ballot in, please let us know. Okay, Liam, where's our, can you check in with us again where our totals at?
Sitting at 41.
41, okay. I know we had 46 registered. Parliamentarian, we've got 46 registered. We have 41 votes. Oh, okay. No worries, Charity. We'll give people another minute. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. Making sure that everyone has the opportunity to vote is important, and I appreciate everyone creating that space so that we can get everyone the support they need to get these important votes in. And Charity, when you get your ballot all figured out, if you can just let me know. Charity, have you been able to get your vote in? Oh, no worries. And I appreciate all of the conversation going on in the chat about how we equitably make sure that we have diverse representation in our positions. Okay. Charity, have you been able to get your ballot in? Okay, no worries at all. Glad you were able to figure that out. Okay, so with that, we will close the ballots for our state committee members. And I'll pass it over to Liam. Liam, do we have 2 candidates that received 50% of the vote plus 1?
Yes, we do.
Okay. Can you let us know those 2 candidates and I guess where the, yeah.
So with the reminder that each PCO got 2 votes in on this ballot, the top 2 vote getters are Amy Madden receiving 31 votes and Dawood Makbul receiving 29 votes out with 41 PCOs having voted and 81 votes being cast by those PCOs.
Thank you for your delicate phrasing on that, Liam. And congratulations to Amy and Dawood. Okay. Next up is the race for our 2 King County reps. The King County reps positions are going to run the same way that we just had our state reps run. Before we had our meeting today, we had 3 candidates who had nominated themselves: Charlotte Kane Amaro, Jacob Hansen, and John Comerford. I'm now going to open the nomination for people, the floor for nominations of King County rep.
Bryce Colton would like to nominate himself.
Okay, Bryce Colton. Second call for nominations to King County rep.
Dean Rodenbaugh would like to nominate himself.
Okay. And then a third, oh yes, Bryce.
I had a quick question of how the procedure is going to work. There's the KC reps or KCD reps, and then there's the alternates. Are those going to be a combined ballot? How are we going to work through that?
Great question. And I'll check with my, Paul, check me on this. I believe that they are 2 separate ballots. We have our ballot for the 2 King County positions. It'll run just like we did with the state rep. And then we will go to King County alternate, and King County alternate will also be 2 positions, but they are not designated to have to be by different genders. So final call for any nominations for King County rep. Okay, so we will close nominations for King County rep. We have 5 candidates who are running. We will give each of our candidates 2 minutes to speak. And also, Liam, it's probably helpful if those of you who did not pre-file, if you can just message Liam in the chat and let him know your gender identity so that he can get that onto the ballot appropriately. And while our nominees from the floor are doing that, we can move to our nominees who filed ahead of time. So our first speech is going to be Charlotte.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hold on. Paul Chapman, did you want to say something?
I was just fumbling with Zoom to get the timer going. I'm ready now. Sorry.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Charlotte Kane Amaro. I'm a PC on the 43rd, and I am currently your alternate for the KC Dems Central Committee. I'm running for the permanent position this time. It's a position I've held before, both with the 43rd and with the King County Young Democrats. I've actually served with Derek Richards, and I'm hopeful to have the luck to serve with him again. As somebody who is a survivor of homelessness and of domestic violence, who is openly trans and visibly disabled, I think it's important that we have these voices, not just on the 43rd's board, but on the county boards in general, given the rhetoric that's being espoused, even in the first 24 hours of this new administration. People like me are being targeted, and we need to, as the 43rd, be a leader in Washington, and King County needs to be a leader in Washington as well. And I want to help uplift candidates to hyperlocal boards. I've been endorsed by Seattle City Council member Alexis Mercedes Rink. I've been endorsed by Bothell City Council member Jenny Alderks. I've been endorsed by the Snoqualmie board, hospital board commissioner Jen Carter. As part of my mission to get more people involved. I want to go back onto the endorsements committee and do that work. I would be absolutely honored to have your votes to return to this great work. And thank you so very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Charlotte. Next up, we have John Comerford.
Back again. First, I want to start by saying that I am a strong progressive and have been all my career, going back to my first vote for president back in 1972. I want to make it also clear that I've been very active locally in raising money and supporting candidates financially. I go back a long way in supporting Nicole McRae, Frank Chop, and had the honor this year of bringing Sean Scott over to my house to meet with Bob Ferguson and a fundraiser that I run for Bob earlier this summer. Also support each of the Democrats running for statewide office and have been very active over the last, 40 years in fundraising and contributing to campaigns. It's not a very sexy area. We talk a lot about policy, as I mentioned earlier. My interest in policy is primarily in housing, also very much interested in the environment. I did run for King County Conservation Commission about 4 years ago, and also state treasurer. You may recall that race. There were 3 Democrats and 2 Republicans, and the 2 Republicans got into the final. So I've been beaten before. In the last 2 races for PCO, I've been beaten by Andrea Suarez. And I don't know if that's a distinction that is good or bad, but I think it was bad. I would really love to represent you on the King County Council. This is the position I really wanted. And as most of you know, I've been a candidate since last year, but we never had enough PCOs to elect people to the King County Democratic Central Committee, either as a delegate or an alternate. So I'm here tonight presenting myself and asking for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Next up, we have Jacob.
Hi, sorry, I was jumping back over to Zoom. All right. Hey, I'm Jacob. I'm running for King County representative as a campaign volunteer with 350 Seattle, House Our Neighbors, and the Washington State Democratic Party. I've seen firsthand how grassroots action drives progressive change. I was excited to help us secure victories on 3 of the 4 ballot initiatives on the last cycle, and we're going to win yes on 1A next month. My academic background in community development has given me a strong foundation in the kind of organizing principles that I think would serve me well in my work on the 43rd. In this role, I look forward to representing our district's values and priorities at the King County District Democratic Central Committee. The environment was the issue that really activated me and got me knocking on doors when I was young, and I'll remember that in my work moving forward. I also really care about affordable housing here in the neighborhood. I believe that collaborating with representatives from other legislative districts, we can share strategies, celebrate victories, and strengthen the progressive movement across our county. I'm also excited to contribute to our district by serving on the Meetings and Events Committee. Through my academic work, I developed skills with meeting facilitation, agenda creation, minute taking, all of that good stuff. And with my work at Southeast Uplift Neighborhood Coalition in Portland, I produced 2 live storytelling shows that brought neighbors together to share their stories of community connection and that mutual support. This work involved developing those engaging themes, securing venues, coordinating speakers, promotion, and that all aligns well with that committee's needs. I'm excited to bring those practical skills and my passionate commitment needed to serve our district effectively, and I'd be honored to earn your support. Thanks for your consideration.
Thank you, Jacob. Next up, we have Bryce.
Hello, everyone. I am Bryce Colton, and I'm a PCO from Capitol Hill. I'm gay, an avid cyclist, and I've been a member of Capitol Hill community since middle school. My prior experience includes being membership chair for this very 43rd district, during which I managed membership roles and drafted pro-housing, pro-worker, progressive resolutions. I was a member of the Seattle Transit Advisory Board, and I'm proud that I successfully reduced cuts to King County Metro during the pandemic and worked with colleagues to advise SDOT's first ever city transportation master plan. Finally, I served as a delegate to the State Democrats Convention, and I'm proudly representing the 43rd. I believe that nationally, Democrats have failed to meet the needs of our communities. I've seen the take online, people really voted in a fascist over 8 cents of eggs. And yeah, they did. And we need to take that seriously. In the national election, Democrats lost enormous supports in staunchly blue precincts. Our most Democrat-run jurisdictions are doing the worst at addressing the affordability crisis, and our most vulnerable are being cast to the streets. We progressives in the 43rd are instrumental to making the changes locally that will lead to victories nationally. The region must set itself as an example, as the pragmatic, outcome-oriented, and compassionate people who are willing to lend a hand to those most in need that I know we all are. If Democrats are to win nationally, it starts by organizing locally, and nothing is more important than modeling progressive democratic governance. As a KC Dem rep, I will bring the pragmatism, outcome-orientedness, and progressivism of my past experiences and the 43rd to represent this district with all the love that I have for it. I care deeply about making King County a more affordable, livable place where no one is forced to sleep on the street. I am Bryce Colton, and I humbly ask for your vote to represent the 43rd to the KCD. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bryce. And then our last candidate is Dean.
Hello, everyone. My name is Dean Rodenbaugh, and I am running for the King County Democrat representative. And the reason I'm running is really to elevate the voice of the 43rd in the county candidate endorsement process and enable greater influence and alignment between the priorities of our district and what we care about most in the county. I recently accepted the role as vice chair of the endorsements committee of King County Democrats. For the past 2 years, I represented the 43rd on the committee's leadership team, working closely with Beth Baisley, the former endorsement committee vice chair, and the new King County Democrats chair. In that capacity, I developed candidate questionnaires, undertook candidate research, and conducted interviews on behalf of the committee. The work gives me visibility to issues and best practices from LDs across the county, which I look forward to sharing with the 43rd leadership. Since joining the 43rd 3 years ago, I served as a delegate at the state convention, as an observer at the King County Elections Office in Renton, and a ballot box observer in Seattle. I also volunteered for phone banking and doorbelling on Capitol Hill with the Washington State Democrats in advance of the recent November primaries and general elections. Apart from my political involvement, I'm active in the Faith Committee on Capitol Hill. I co-lead the Church Council and the Building Redevelopment Committee for All Pilgrims Christian Church on Broadway.
And it's like,
the church is working to create a high-rise development on its campus to accommodate low-income housing with space for worship services and community events on the ground floor. In this role, I connect with elected officials and civic leaders to build support for the church's vision and share our passion for addressing housing needs, a key priority for the 43rd District. Professionally, I worked in public affairs and communications, and I look forward to the possibility of being your representative to heighten the impact of our work and influence in the 43rd. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dean. Okay. So, ballot link is going to be going into the chat for our 5 candidates. This race is going to work just like our state committee member race worked. So as a reminder, this is a PCO only election. For those of you who aren't PCOs, thanks for staying with us. We've only got one more PCO only election after this, and then it's all members. So this is a PCO only election. As with our last ballot, you are going to choose 2 people of different genders. Link is now in the chat. Okay, if anyone's having any issues, if you're an elected PCO and you're having any issues, please let us know. Okay, we're going to give people one more minute. If you are a PCO, you're still voting, try to wrap up in the next minute, and please reach out if you're having any issues. Okay, is there any PCO that has not been able to vote that would like to vote? Okay, then with that, we will close the vote for King County Representative. Liam, can you let us know when you have the opportunity who our top 2 vote getters are?
Our top 2 vote getters are Charlotte, having received 31 votes out of the 31 PCOs voting, and Bryce receiving 18 votes out of the 31 PCOs who voted.
Okay, congratulations to Bryce and Charlotte. Welcome. And with that, we're going to roll into our last PCO only election. And so this is going to be the King County alternate position. Before we had our session, we had 2 people who nominated themselves, Elisabetta Valenti and John Comerford. I'm going to open the floor for any additional nominations for King County alternate position.
I would like to self-nominate. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I see both. I saw Dean and Jacob. So Dean, you want to go first?
Yeah, I would like to self-nominate for the alternate role.
Thank you, Dean. And Jacob?
Yes, I'll self-nominate as well.
Okay. Second call for anyone who would like any additional nominations for King County alternate.
Can I raise my hand?
Yes.
Sorry, but I actually would like to switch and run as a treasurer. Can I do that now?
Yes, we will withdraw you from the King County alternate position. And then when we get to treasurer, we'll just renominate you at that point. Okay, final call for any King County alternates. Okay, at this point, we will close nominations for King County alternate. We have, great question, Nora. This role does not have any gender requirements. So this will be a straight up top 2 vote. The ballot will have 3 names on it. Everyone will vote for 2 candidates, and the 2 candidates that receive the highest percentage will get the positions. We have 3 members. First on the list is John.
I'm going to cede back my time to everyone else. I've talked enough tonight.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Next up is Dean.
Yes, I'd like to throw my hat in the ring for alternate for King County Democrat. I've had an opportunity during the last 2.5 years to work closely with the infrastructure of the endorsement committee, as I shared in my earlier comment. And one of the things that was missing from my involvement was a closer connection to the 43rd district. I would really value the opportunity to link my work with King County with that of the 43rd, so that both organizations could be served more effectively. With new leadership from Beth Baisley, I know that there will be greater opportunities to elevate our voice. I know that through my involvement, I can be effective at engaging the voices across the 43rd to make sure that we are heard, to make sure that our progressive values are visible. And I think one thing to keep in mind, as I'm sure many of you know, the King County landscape, the 43rd stands out in many cases as a very different landscape than some of the other communities across King County. And it is important to have an articulate voice and someone who has the respect of that broader organization to make an impact. And for that, I ask for your vote. I hope you'll give it due consideration, and it would be my honor to represent you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dean. And then Jacob.
Yeah, I don't have a whole lot of additional stuff to add. I would just be really excited to be a progressive voice on the committee, and yeah, don't have a whole lot of additional stuff to add. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jacob. Okay, so link is now going to go into the chat. We have our 3 candidates. This is PCO only. This is the last PCO only vote. All the rest of the votes will be everyone, or all members, I should say. PCO only vote, you pick 2 candidates. Any 2 candidates that you would like, and the top 2 vote getters will be our 2 alternates. Okay, I'm going to put out our 1 minute heads up. If you're having any issues, seems like most people have been able to get in and cast their votes, which is excellent. 1 minute heads up before we'll close these ballots. Okay, this is the last call. If there's any PCO who wanted to vote but has not yet had the chance, please let us know. Otherwise, we're going to close the ballots. Okay, hearing nothing, we will close the ballot. Liam, when you have the opportunity, please share with us the top 2 vote getters.
All right. Having received 20 votes each, Jacob and Dean are the top 2 vote getters, receiving 20 votes out of 30 PCOs that voted.
Okay, congratulations, Jacob and Dean. Okay, we are now moving into the all-member elections. So the following election, all the rest of our elections are for all members. Our first position up is secretary. Before our meeting today, the only candidate who put forth their nomination was Frederic. I will now open the floor for any additional nominations for secretary. Second call for any nominations for secretary. Final call for any nominations for secretary.
In the spirit of the great John Comerford, I'd like to nominate myself and then immediately withdraw.
Thank you, Charlotte. Being no other nominations, am I allowed to move for Frederic to be appointed by acclamation?
You can call for a motion, but
I
someone
call
else
for a
should
motion.
move.
I move to elect by acclamation.
Seconded.
Any opposed? Oh, Linda.
I'm not opposed. I thought Elizabetta withdrew to run for this position too.
She
Treasurer,
withdrew to run
I
for
understand.
treasurer.
So,
but thank you for clarifying that and making sure that she wasn't left behind. Okay, so hearing no opposes, welcome Frederic as our new secretary. Okay, next up is treasurer. Oh, Elizabetta, you're muted. So there were no nominations ahead of time. I open the floor for nominations for treasurer.
Yes, I would like to nominate myself as the treasurer.
Okay. Second call for any nominations for treasurer. Final call for any nominations for treasurer. Okay, closing nominations for treasurer. Would anyone like to make a movement?
I'd like to make a motion to elect by acclamation.
Is there a second?
I would like to second that.
Okay. Any opposition to Elizabetta being declared treasurer by acclamation? Okay, congratulations, Elizabetta. Welcome as our new treasurer.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is elections committee. Elections committee chair. Before the only pre-nomination was for Jacob Morrison. I'll now open the floor for any additional nominations for elections committee chair. Second call for nominations for elections committee chair.
I move for acclamation for Jacob Morrison.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second, yes.
Any opposed? Okay, by acclamation, congratulations, Jacob, on being the new elections committee chair. Okay, next up is fundraising committee. The only pre-filed nomination was for Derek Richards. I now open the floor for any additional nominations for fundraising committee chair. Second call for fundraising committee chair nominations. Yes, Amy.
Sorry, I'm just raising my hand to move for acclamation when we get there.
Oh, okay. Third call. Pass it. Oh, yes, Linda.
I nominate John Comerford.
John Comerford? Okay. Okay. John, checking in. Are you willing to be up for this position? Oh, you're muted, John.
Fundraising chair, sure, why not? That's
Okay.
what I do.
So, with that, final call for any nominations for fundraising chair. Okay, we will close nominations for fundraising chair. Each of our two candidates will have 2 minutes. We will start with Derek Richards.
All right. Hey, for 43rd LD, my name is Derek Richards, and I'm running for the fundraising chair. My previous experience with fundraisers, I was the chair of the King County Young Democrats from 2019 to 2020. After that, I was the president of the Young Democrats of Washington. As president of the Young Democrats of Washington, I had to help throw 2 conventions, and we brought back a fundraiser for the first time in at least 5 years that I know of for that organization. I've been the fundraising chair for the 37th LD. This was about 2017. And I was briefly the events chair for the 43rd district. I love throwing events. I love throwing the fundraisers, which as a fundraising chair, you're in charge of the fundraising events. And I really want to bring back Ballots and Bubbly, which is a classic 43rd LD fundraising event that we haven't done for a couple of years. And that's one of my big goals for this year. I would appreciate you all if you would vote for me. And I look forward to hopefully being able to serve in this role and on this board. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Derek. And then John, would you like to give it 2 minutes?
Sure, I won't take 2 minutes, but I guess this is probably a role I'm pretty suited for. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I have been a fundraiser most of my career. We're fortunate to have a wonderful home in Belltown where we host parties on our 26th floor. And this year we did one for Bob Ferguson. The past we've done it for Jay Inslee and most of the legislators around the area. So it's something we do, and my wife and I are involved in this, and I look forward to. I was chair of the 46th. I'm sorry, chair of the 36th fundraising committee about 10 or 12 years ago, and we had a successful run. So look forward to serving on the executive committee and as fundraising chair. Thank you so much.
Let's go move forward.
Awesome. Thank you, John. When the link is ready, Liam will drop the link into the chat. This is a all-member vote, so all members can vote. For those of you who aren't PCOs, you can get to use your voting code now. So make sure you go and find that and put it in at the top of the ballot. Select one of the 2 candidates.
Hey, Ryan, I may be missing something, but I don't see the ballot in the chat.
It hasn't been dropped yet. I think Liam is making it as we speak.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there we go. Goes into the chat.
Great.
So again, make sure you put your voting code at the top and then choose one of 2 candidates. This is an all members election.
I just want to confirm, sorry, Ryan. Just want to confirm that there isn't anyone with experiencing troubles with their voting code. And again, this is a all voting members race.
Okay. We can keep these ballots open while people are casting these ballots. We're going to move forward with our next candidate. So this ballot stays open. We will circle back and close it in a little bit. But in the interest of saving some time, we're going to move forward to our next nomination. Next up is PCO Committee Chair. No one pre-filed for PCO Committee Chair, so I now open the floor for PCO Committee Chair nominations.
I nominate myself for PCO chair, David Tomasz Paris.
Thank you, David. Second call for PCO committee chair nominations. Third call and final for PCO committee chair nominations. Okay, we will close the nominations for PCO committee chair. Do I hear a motion?
I move to elect David Tomasz Paris as PCO chair by acclamation.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any opposition? Okay, then by acclamation, congratulations, David, on being the new PCO committee chair. Paul, you had something? Nope. Okay. And as noted, ballots are still open for fundraising. If you're having any issues, please reach out and let us know. We will close that in just a little bit. We'll give everyone a few more minutes. Next up is membership committee chair. Oh, Carl, do you have a question? Circle back to, okay. Carl, if you're having any, who won? David, we haven't closed the ballot yet for fundraising committee. So we'll know in just a little bit. We're gonna leave it open for another minute or two for everyone. But in the interest of time, we'll move forward to our next nomination, which is membership committee. No one pre-filed for membership committee, so I will open the floor for nominations for membership committee chair.
I will self-nominate. I'm James Williams.
Thank you, James. Second call for anyone, any nominations for membership committee chair? Final call for nominations for membership committee chair? Okay, we will close nominations for membership committee chair. Is there a motion or a movement?
Amy moved for acclamation in the chat.
Oh, in the chat. Thank you, Amy. Should have been checking the chat. And that's the second. Any opposed to nominating or electing James Williams by acclamation to membership committee chair? Okay, seeing none, congratulations, James, and welcome as our new membership committee chair. At this point, I'm going to check in with everyone. Is there anyone who wanted to vote for our fundraising committee chair that has not had an opportunity to do so? If so, please raise your hand or put it in the chat. Okay, with that then, we will close the ballots for fundraising committee chair. While Liam is working on getting all of the results together, we'll move on to our next nomination, and then we'll have him share after that. Our next nomination is our meetings and events committee chair. We had one pre-nomination, and that is Ben Furlow. I will now open the floor for any additional nominations for meeting and events committee chair. Oh, Paul, yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to call attention to a couple things. Michael, just want to make sure you saw the instructions on how to do the voting. If not, message me back, please. Lori, I'll get with you about which ballot you are referring to.
It's I believe it's the fundraising committee chair. Okay. While we're working on that, returning to our second call for nominations for meeting and events committee chair. Okay, final call for meeting and events committee chair nominations. Okay, we'll now close nominations for meeting and events committee chair. We need a shorter name for this committee.
I move to elect by acclamation. Ben Furlow, that is.
Okay. Do we have a second? See a second from
second.
Derek. Okay. Any opposed? Okay, then by acclamation, welcome Ben Furlow as our new Meeting and Events Committee Chair. Okay, pause real quick to check in. Is there anyone we're still working on for the fundraising committee chair vote? Or did we get that all? Let me check real quick. Okay, is there anyone who wanted to vote for fundraising committee chair that was not able? If not,
It looks like Lori is maybe having issue with her code.
Okay.
And Michael, I just messaged you again in the Zoom chat with the link.
Okay,
Do you
knowing
see
that. Liam, is that vote still open?
Yes, it is.
Okay, then we'll continue to work with our two, with Lori. Lori, if you need any support, please let us know. And Michael as well. We'll continue to keep that open and we'll move to our next nomination. Next is Communications Committee Chair. We had one pre-file, Justin Peterson, filed for Communications Chair. I'll now open the floor for any additional nominations for Communications Committee Chair. Second call for Communications Committee Chair. Final call for Communications Committee Chair. Okay, I will close nominations for Communications Committee Chair. And then I'll look expectantly
Motion to
around.
elect by acclamation.
Okay, is there a second?
Seconded.
Yep. Any opposition? Okay, so congratulations, Justin Peterson, our new Communications Committee Chair. Next up, we have our Technology Committee Chair. We had one nomination beforehand, Liam Steckler, who is currently managing all of the tech stuff that we are doing right now. I will open the floor for any additional nominations for Technology Committee Chair. Second call for any nominations for Technology Committee Chair.
I move we elect Liam by acclamation.
Is there a second?
Seconded. Seconded.
And any opposition? Okay, thank you, Liam. And while we're at it, can we all just give a round of applause for Liam, who is doing heroic work tonight, answering all of those emails, trying to get everyone their voting codes. I know technology creates a lot of issues, but Liam is just a master at making sure that it is, we're trying to be, making things happen, making this all run. So thank you, Liam. Okay, next up we have, I'm going to pause real quick and check in. Has everyone who wanted to vote for fundraising committee chair been able to figure it out? Michael, were you able to vote? And Lori, were you able to vote?
Lori, I just emailed you your voting code again.
Okay, we'll give Lori another few minutes before we close that one out. We'll move on to our next nomination. Next up is Policy and Advocacy Chair. There are two nominations that were put forward. Arisa and Mariah, Arisa Somani and Mariah Mitchell. I'll open the floor for any additional nominations. Second call for additional nominations for Policy and Committee Chair, Policy and Advocacy Chair. Third call for and final call for Policy and Advocacy Chair nominations. Okay, we will close nominations. Each of our candidates will have 2 minutes Our first nominee up will be Arisa.
Hey everyone, my name is Risa Smani and I'm running to be your policy and advocacy chair. As your chair, I will recruit a dedicated and diverse committee that will work as a team and with progressive organizations across our district to complete the following 2 priorities. 1, we will build a multi-generational broad base of action takers to take a minimum of 1 advocacy action per month to influence local, state, and national electeds. And 2, we will assemble an elite cohort of action takers to deploy for rapid response action as Trump's authoritarian agenda gets underway. I currently work in political philanthropy and I am a comms advisor for the Prop 1A campaign. With me, I bring 10 years of experience in organizing and politics. In 2020, I served as the deputy organizing director for Michelle Obama's When We All Vote, a national nonprofit to close the race and age gap in voting. During the 2020 election, I trained 50,000 volunteers and our team registered 537,000 voters. And in 2021, I trained 15,000 volunteers on the Freedom to Vote Act, who made 20,000 calls to their senators in support of that legislation. I do this work because I believe that every person has the ability to be an extraordinary champion for change. And that is why I ask for your vote as policy and advocacy chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Arisa. And next is Mariah Mitchell. Mariah, are you here?
It doesn't look like Mariah is in the Zoom.
Does not look like. Okay. Since Mariah is not here, they'll retain their spot on the ballot, I believe. So we'll still go to a ballot. So when Liam has that.
Can I motion for acclamation for Arisa?
That is a good
I would second
question,
that.
parliamentarian. Okay, we've got a motion and a second, parliamentarian. Is that okay? When we have 2 candidates?
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, Linda.
Since technically the pre-nomination. Sorry, Linda, hold on. Technically the pre-nomination was pre-nomination and the nomination happens in the meeting. If nobody nominates her, then she would not be on the ballot and we would not vote, include her in the vote.
Got you. Okay. So then we might need to take a step back because I think when we opened up nominations, there was maybe an assumption that she was already nominated. So let's do a quick, Bryce, and then Linda.
I actually believe that the motion to approve by acclamation is a motion that can be made with anything. So I don't think like pre or post nomination is actually important. Typically, like if Maria was here, you could still even make that motion, although doing so would be kind of a rude move.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Let me just clarify. The nominations happen in the meeting.
Gotcha.
And so unless somebody has nominated Maria or Maria nominates herself, she is not nominated for candidacy, even though she submitted her name in advance, if that makes sense.
Got you. And okay, Linda.
That may answer my question. I was wondering if anybody was here who could speak for her since she didn't submit a statement, but apparently she's not officially nominated.
Okay, so we've had an acclamation and a second. Is there anyone opposed to Arisa being appointed by acclamation? Okay, seeing no opposition, congratulations and welcome Arisa to the board as our new policy and advocacy chair. Okay, at this point, we're going to check in. Is there any, Paul, did we get everyone done or voted for the fundraising?
I think we have.
Okay, we are going to then close the ballot for our fundraising chair. And Liam, when you've got those results, feel free to share them. For people who put in their nominations for mutual aid is an appointed position. And so rather than, since we're already 15 minutes over time, rather than move into that right now, that's an appointed position. And so we will, we can bring that up at our next meeting and talk through what that will look like.
I have the results for fundraising committee chair.
Okay.
Receiving 36 out of the 53 votes cast. Derek Richards is fundraising chair.
Okay. Thank you, Liam, and congratulations, Derek. Okay. We have one final item that I'd like us to get to. I know we're a little bit over time, but this is something that's on our February special election ballot. And so I want to make sure that it's put on all of our radar as those ballots are coming out this week. And we've already passed a proposition around Prop 1A in supporting social housing, but the other two important levies that are going to be on the ballot are around school funding. So we have a resolution put forward around the two school funding levies that are going to be on your February special election ballot. So if you'll all stick with me for just a few more minutes, I want to make sure we all get this information and are able to cast a vote, and then we will wrap up after that. So do we have anyone here who'd like to speak to these resolutions?
Hi, this is Harriet Wasserman, and I proposed the levy resolution. So I would like to speak to it.
Yes. Go for it, Harriet.
Okay. Don't take it out on the kids. That was our campaign theme for a levy election long, long ago when we'd hoped we'd never have to do it again. Well, we're doing it again. And the reason for that slogan was that everybody always finds some reason to be upset with the schools, with the board, with the superintendent, with the staff, with something. But voting against the levies does not help with that. It just hurts the kids. We've seen that in the past. Our schools are not well funded. They are not fairly funded. It's a terrible system. The 43rd has worked hard with earlier resolutions and working with the legislature to try to improve the statewide funding. Should definitely continue to do that. Important to know that the current levy proposals are not additions. They are replacing expiring levies. They expire currently after 3 years. We used to have to do this, would you believe, every year, then every 2, and now it is 3. The two proposals, one is for operations, and that includes arts, music programs, almost all the security guards. I was surprised at how much of the security staff is just simply not funded through the state funding. The other half is, or the other part is for capital improvements, repairs, fixing buildings, making buildings, and 90% of the district's technology, both for students and for staff use, comes from that levy. Without the levy funds, we wouldn't even have I wouldn't even call it basic, we wouldn't have bare bones education. So it's very important that we pass this resolution and that we follow the instructions in the last clause that says, we encourage all members of our community to actively participate in the democratic process and vote in favor of these critical levies. That would be my statement.
Awesome. Thank you, Harriet. And for those of you who want to get a look at the resolution, let me make this nice and big, like that, and then we're going to increase the size. So we have a series of whereas clauses. Let me make it even just a little bit bigger. Here we go. A series of whereas clauses around the importance of education, threatening budget cuts, threatening essential services, critical to bridging the gap, a brief explanation of what both of those propositions will fund, and as they are replacements for existing levies that we're already paying, and the importance of investing in our schools. And it ends with, be it resolved that we support the passage of both of the levies on this upcoming election and urge all of our members and community to actively participate in the process. Does anyone have any questions about the resolution? Yeah, Aaron.
Hi, I'm just concerned as an educator of over 10 years in public schools. The school safety officers are sometimes problematic. Have you consulted with communities of color in the district about if we should be supporting that role? I didn't understand, but I thought there was a thing for the school resource officers, and I would want to defer to the students of color and their families as to if they feel safe with that situation.
Certainly.
So
Can I answer that question?
Yes. Sorry.
Hi, Erin. I'm Vivian Song. I'm a parent in Seattle Public Schools, and a former school board director. So a few years ago, the school board, prior to me being on the school board, actually passed a resolution, and there are no longer school resource officers in Seattle Public Schools. What Harriet was talking about are so those are not, the school resource officers are affiliated with Seattle Police Department. That is no longer a relationship that we have. What Harriet is describing is people who work in terms of security, and they are staff members. They work in the schools.
I guess I would just ask like that we consult with like the local NAACP or something like that to see their stance on it. Maybe there could be some actual endorsement from BIPOC communities in partnership. That's just a proposal, but obviously I'm all for funding schools, so.
Okay. As a reminder, right now it's a period for questions. So if people have questions about the resolution, they can feel free. Michael. Oh, Michael, you're muted.
I'm sorry, I didn't have a question about the resolution. I was getting in line to speak in its support.
Gotcha. Okay. So checking real quick, does anyone have any questions about the resolution? Okay. So the next point will be to have statements. Before we go into statements for and against the resolution, I want to check that there are people on both sides. Are there, so by using the raise hand function, are there people who would like to speak in favor of the resolution?
Yes.
Let's see, Michael and Linda. Okay. And then if you, Michael and Linda, if you all could lower your hands real quick. And then by using the raise hand feature, is there anyone who would like to speak in opposition to the resolution? Okay. So seeing that there's no one speaking in opposition of the resolution, we're going to move into voting on the resolution and seeing that
Mr. Chair, we
yes,
have
Emily.
It looks like Linda may have a question. Linda just said that in the chat.
Yes, let me check. Oh yeah, Linda.
So that's why I raised my hand, sorry.
No.
My question is, do we know what the cost will be? Because increasingly, those of us on fixed incomes are finding it hard to come up with the property tax that we're increasingly owed.
Mm-hmm.
There is no increase over what we're paying now. What we're paying now goes away. And I believe that the request always is a little more than the state allows them to collect, but they can only collect the amount the state has set.
Okay. So Harriet, what we're hearing is it'll be the same amount that we're paying right now.
Thank you.
Okay. Nora?
So I'm not sure if this is a point of information, but I wanted to flag that King County does offer property tax relief for seniors on a fixed income. And anyone here who is impacted by that, I would definitely encourage you to check it out and feel free to message me afterwards if you want me to just send you a link or something to that.
That's excellent. And Nora, actually, if you can send that link to me, then I can include it in a follow-up email so everyone has access to that. It's a great resource.
Oh, sure. No problem.
Or in the chat. Yeah, all of it. We'll do all of it. Okay. Seeing as there was no one who wanted to speak in opposition, we're going to move forward with our vote on this resolution. So Liam is going to throw the link in the chat. Again, please use your voting code. This is a vote that's open to all members. Thank you for that additional context, Linda. And if you're having any issues in voting on this resolution, please let us know. Okay, and thank you for everyone for sharing information about school levies in the chat to give some additional context to people. While we're waiting for everyone to finish their votes on these resolutions, I just want to circle back one more time as a reminder. You have your February special election ballot that will be coming out this week. Please keep an eye out for it. There are 3 items to vote on, although one of the items has 2 questions. There are these 2 school levies, and then there's then there's the funding mechanism for a social housing developer. I will send out a follow-up email tomorrow with a visual of how to vote on Proposition 1A. You have to vote yes on the first question and 1A on the second question. In addition, the 43rd is co-hosting a canvassing event this Saturday with How's Our Neighbors in the Capitol Hill area. So if you are around and free, we would love your support in going on knocking on doors and sharing information with all of our neighbors about what's going to be on their February special election ballot. I'm guessing a fair number of them are going to be surprised they got a ballot in February, or at least that's been my experience knocking on doors for it. Lots of people surprised there's a February special election. So this is a really important election that we go and just let people know what's on it and how to vote correctly for it. Okay, I'm going to check in with our tech chair and get a sense. Is there anyone who wants to vote on the resolution that has not been able to complete their vote? Okay, this is the last call for anyone who'd like to vote on the resolution but has not been able to vote. If you're having any issues, let us know. Okay, seeing none, we're going to close the vote on this resolution. And Liam, when you've got the information, you can let us know the results.
All right. The resolution is agreed to with 44 votes out of 45 voting yes.
Okay, so resolution passes. And with that, and knowing that we are a little under half hour over our meeting time, thank you all for sticking with us, for sticking through all of the tech issues, for making it work so that we could get everyone's voices heard. I'm so excited for all of the energy and all of the talent that is coming into this new board, and for all of the engagement that we're seeing here today. Our goal is to keep this level of engagement going forward so that we can all stay informed, we can all learn from each other, and we can really get progressive policies passed on the state and local level. With that, we'll call our meeting to adjournment. And if I can have all of our new board members stick around for just a second afterwards, that would be wonderful. Thank you all so much and have a wonderful evening. Okay.
Congrats, new board. Go get them.
Thanks, Rye.